the House of Representatives Ad Hoc Committee investigating the joint venture businesses and production sharing contracts of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has accused all companies in Nigeria of operating without certificate of acceptance on fixed assets. The CAFA certificate is issued by the Ministry of Trade and Investment to legalize the operations of all majors in the country. The committee observed that most of the companies were making claims of capital allowance from the government without following the right processes of obtaining the certificates from the Ministry of Trade and Investment. Chairman of the committee, Honorable Abubakar Fulata, says it will have no other option but to insist that all defaulting companies be compelled to refund payments back to the government's coffers. He made this disclosure at the resumed investigative public hearing of the committee in Abuja.
Virtually all companies in Nigeria, all, I'm making a generalization, all companies in Nigeria do not have the Cafa certificate. And they are enjoying capital allowance, which amounts to billions, hundreds of billions of dollars. This is fundamental. And this is most surprising. Things that they cannot do in their countries, they are doing in Nigeria. Accordingly, unless you are able to give us empirically verifiable evidence on the malfeasance on this matter, the committee has no option other than to recommend the relevant agency to recover whatever that was paid to you as capital allowance. So it's just a temporary measure. We will take you, but ultimately your chief executive must appear before this this committee and own up.
Information at our disposal say these two companies are owned by your own directors of Seplat. And for you that is operating a JV for this country, we're wondering how jobs that you are issuing to yourselves were given to companies owned by your own directors. That is a conflict of interest. And we're wondering how did they go through the NIPEX portal? Did they go through a process? How was it still awarded to companies owned by your directors? This is still Nigeria's commonwealth. So you cannot dispense of it at will because you're operating those assets.
The committee had grilled the managing director of Seplat Oil Company, Ayo Olatunde, on a wide range of issues, which included the number of oil blocks it operated and for how long it has been operating. It also wanted to know the amount of money paid for acquisition of OMLS and from whom it was paid to, either the joint venture partnership with NNPC or NPDC. Although his response did not single members of the committee, he insisted he must respond to every question.
Again, for a matter of process, we will have to have an alignment, I would say this, clarify with our JV partner, which is NNPC. Again, it's quite very key because we send cash call to them in line with the JOA, and we understand what the JOA says too. There are some information. So sometimes you make a cash call request, but they don't pay everything. So when you then take $5 million out of this retinue of cash call and say 2017, in fairness, it will be difficult for me to answer. That's why I have to explain this.
The committee at this point asked the company to provide it with details of its payments and amounts paid, the banks, accounts numbers, and statements. It also directed the clerk of the committee to invite the Registrar General of the Corporate Affairs Commission, CAC, Abubakar Garba, to the next sitting to answer to some concerns observed by the lawmakers. Annie T. Patrick, Call TV News, Abuja.